First off, I want to say R.I.P. to the legendary D'Angelo Michael Eugene Archer of Richmond, Virginia, born and raised. When I think about his legacy, first off, I just mentioned Virginia. When people mention the state of Virginia when it comes to urban music or hip hop and R&B, they typically talk about Timbaland, Missy, the Neptunes, or even Teddy Riley, who's from Harlem. But a lot of people don't mention D'Angelo in their list or when it comes to Virginia, and not because he wasn't a superstar, wasn't great at what he does. That's a testament to he made everything about the music, like a mythical figure in a sense. And when I think about his legacy, I was introduced to him back in like maybe '95, the Brown Sugar album, and right away you can tell it was something different about this gentleman. Jazz, funk, harmonies, unique ad libs, the use of great reverb. It was just something that I gravitated towards as a youngster. And I can't forget the live instrumentation, the grooves, very smoky grooves, and his restraint. We always talk about writers who don't need to display every trick that they possess in their songs. He was one of those. If he wanted to, he could have went far left every single trip and displayed how great he was, but he did what was best for the songs. And I've always loved that about him. And his legacy is going to live on considering that, because a lot of people were definitely inspired. We can go back to maybe the Voodoo era. Voodoo wasn't just an album. It was like a moment in music history that you can draw back on to this present time. I know exactly where I was when that album dropped, man. So Aquarians, Questlove, Jay Dilla, Q-Tip, James Poyser, the list goes on and on. But of all those individuals, I think his greatest collaborator over the course of his career, at least for me, is Raphael Sadiq. I think that they made or created magic together, man. But going back to Voodoo, warmth, hip hop, swing, gospel, great engineering. It was just a great experience. Like R&B music, if we're gonna talk R&B music as far as checking all boxes, that album had it. It was definitely deep rooted in gospel music, quartet to be exact, chord structures, tempo, call and response. And what makes his music so great is the fact that it translates very well live. Go watch some of his old shows, man. Like his music translates. It's not a struggle. And we're going back almost 25 to 30 years. And that stuff still touches you in a very unique way, man. He allowed the music to breathe, a space to speak, yet you felt satisfied as a listener, like you weren't being cheated. D'Angelo was never chasing radio. He was chasing legacy and being timeless. Radio just happened to follow. Even think about Untitled. That's quartet music. The definition, the core definition of it, the tempo, chord structure, the way it's written, the pacing, the timing, the ad-libs, guitar, is all there. And mind you, it wasn't commercial music, but I want you to think about how much that song meant to people at that time. Yeah, the video helped it out, but it was the song itself that made the video even worth watching. It was a phenomenal song. And I can get into that whole album if I want to, but that's not what this video is about. It's about his legacy in a sense, you know? And he also had a connection to hip hop. Think about the people he was connected with. I mentioned Jay Dilla before, Questlove, but DJ Premier, Devil's Pie, Method Man, Redman. Go back to DJ Premier, Lady Remix, AZ. When he decided to get into that realm as well, it was timeless music. He had an affinity for hip hop. He celebrated the funky individuals, you know what I'm saying? His phrasing, rhythm, reflected hip hop to its core, the sensibilities. Want to take things out, or the drops, or want to add things, or the mixing. Everything just made sense when it came to him. He respected MCs the same way he respected instrumentalists or the minstrels. He was an elitist, or he was very elite when it came to rhythms. And you could hear it. The Dilla Pocket, the edge of DJ Premier. When it came to the hip hop language and soul and R&B and many other things, he spoke it fluently. Not to mention that he was influenced by some of the greatest, Curtis Mayfield, Prince, and a host of others who he always paid homage to. D'Angelo is who he is. He is who he is, and that can never be taken away from him. And you can always tell that he was about the music, because if I go back to Voodoo or even Brown Sugar, there was always a gap in between time. Like Voodoo, he had the world in his hand. He could have sold out and did all types of outlandish things. He disappeared because it wasn't about the fame for him. It was about crafting great albums, giving the listeners a great experience, adding value to the music or the genres that he appreciates. How many people have been in his position around the early 2000s and decided to do things their way? Think about it. He stepped away. Discipline. He studied, refined, played, and stayed true to himself. Worked on his craft. And I've always respected that about him, man. And then after that, we go between Voodoo and the Messiah album was maybe 14 to 15 years almost. I could be wrong. The Vanguard, approximately. Yeah, that's about right. A lot of people compare those two albums, and that's how you know you're great, when they start comparing you to yourself. That was the thing. That's when you know you've arrived, when your previous work has become the barometer to everything you do going forward, not what everyone else is doing. You're literally on the court competing with yourself. It may get tough, it may feel like people trying to box you in, but that's when you know you've arrived, because you've put out so much great work to where the standard has become your reflection, who you are. And he's one of those individuals who had to deal with that, and he dealt with it pretty well. I remember when I was working on my undergrad, taking a radio production editing class, Really Love was a song that was prominent within my final project, going in and out of commercials. And I've always had an affinity for, or loved or respected what D'Angelo brought to the game. And he's going to be missed in a sense. And not missed because he's not on social media, not missed because he's not doing crazy things. In his lifetime, musically, and the way his passing, the news that we got, it all was consistent. He did it his way, under the radar, on his terms, and it was always about the music. I think that's his legacy. His legacy is that he's an elite musician. He had the world in the palm of his hands, and he relinquished that. He let that go. He didn't want the fame. Well, at least I can say that wasn't his main goal. It was always about being an elite musician. And man, did he check that box off. So R.I.P. to D'Angelo, Mr. Archer. Salute to his entire family, all his supporters. And we lost a great one. We say that a lot, but we lost a legend. We say that a lot. We lost someone who creates timeless music, who will live with us, or the music will stay with us forever. Salute to you. A salute to all the lovers of music out there. We appreciate you.
Hey, yo, E!